public school system is systematically broken. It is not something that you can fix by implementing new strategies here. It's not something that you can change by implementing more resources there. It is broken by design. And if you don't believe me, have you ever heard the phrase, school is not real life? So the things that are allowed in school will never, in a million years, be able to be allowed in the real world setting. And I can prove this to you, especially in the elementary days where all these allowable accommodations are taking place just because the parent can call and stronghold the school into having set up their kid a certain way. And that should be pathetic because it is, of course, school designed to have one authoritative figure to 22. And yeah, that sucks, but that's the way it's set up. It's hard work, sure, but the kids still have to follow through, just as the teachers shouldn't abuse their power. But just in general, let's circle back to those unreasonable accommodations. Things like any parent call and the kid can automatically have a restroom break any time of day, any minute, any hour. They get an equalized in reward, equalized in this sort of participation trophy where even if a kid misbehaves, even if a kid effort isn't there, even if a kid is abysmal in all forms of area, then they still have to be rewarded or still have to be acknowledged. And what I want to focus more in on this video is the allowing of behavior in general. This whole disrespect that is prevalent throughout the education system. And once again, it was designed this way. Like the people running school, they're allowing it because it was designed to be run this way. If you don't believe me, just think anytime a child has a behavior problem, they go through a process to figure out, okay, he is labeled as a behavior child. Once they have that label, then the child has to have a sort of incentive to stop that behavior. And that incentive is something that the kid likes. Think about that concept right there. There is no consequence for that child. There is incentives for the child to behave better. That should be scary because it is only a downward spiral from there. The child misbehaves, so the child gets what he wants, so he doesn't misbehave. The other kids see that child misbehaving, so it goes back and forth to the other kids misbehaving so that the other kids get what they want, so that the other kids can start behaving better. You see how this trend is, and no one's talking about it. It's so ridiculous how we've accepted this notion of, no, you can't give kids consequences. You have to incentivize kids to do better. That is nonsense. Since when? Some of these accommodations that I've seen for behavior childs are allowing a cool down break. So let's say a child misbehaves, right? He's given an assignment, which is part of your daily life in school. He's given an assignment, he's given homework, he has to read a passage. The kid breaks down. He starts yelling at the teacher, he starts yelling at his classmates, he starts throwing desks. Scary. Your kid is witnessing all of this, but whatever, he's doing these actions. So the teacher has to stop what he's doing, give him an incentive, give him a little reward. So either a cool down time apart from the classroom, sand, clay, whatever toy he has, so that he can cool down, so that when he comes back, he's more relaxed and he's willing to do it. Stupidity at its finest. I've seen the allowing of disrespect, so a kid can tell off a teacher, a kid can nag, a kid can yell, a kid can be passive aggressive. I've seen the allowing of hitting, so if this kid is labeled behavior and he hits your child, I wouldn't call it okay. It's not okay per se, but the kid doesn't get a consequence because he has that label. That label is a protection. He doesn't get a consequence. We have to work around his behavior issue because we labeled it an issue. We didn't say it was something that needed to be stopped. This should blow your mind how much we're catering to this nonsense. This is going on in public school system. Your kids are witnessing this. Imagine if your kid sees somebody just being a brat and they're getting time away from work. What is that going to do to your child? And now let's talk about the consequences that the teachers cannot do. The teachers aren't allowed to keep him for detention. They're not allowed to keep him from recess. they can't keep him after school, and they can't call the parent in. The parents are the ones that are allowing this behavior, so there's no help there. You see the problem here that we have in the public school system, that's baked into the public school system, because once again, the public school has said that this is not a problem, this is more of an issue that needs to be resolved. Nonsense. School isn't real life, because if that were to happen in any other scenario, if that were to happen in a workplace, if that were to happen in a playground, if that were to happen in a public activity like bowling, whatever, that kid would be kicked out, that kid would have consequences, that kid would have police intervention or some form of charges against him. School is not real. And so now I ask you, you as a parent, you know that this is going on in the public school system, you know that this is an issue. The only thing that you can do is call and complain. And now, what does the school do? What does the school do? The school will have two complaining parents about an issue that they themselves created, because they don't want to give this kid a consequence. They want to give this kid a reward to behave better. Something to think about. Like, comment, subscribe for more.